Starting recording. You know what? Okay, here we go. Welcome everybody to this week's Alternative Health Lab. I'm your host today, Mike Warren, with Alternative Health Concepts. And we'd like to welcome you all. And if you're watching this on replay, we'd ask you to go to our website, which is right under my name here. You can go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, our blog, and get some great content on how to help yourself heal yourself. We believe at Alternative Health Concepts that your body is the only thing that can truly heal itself, and it is self-regulating, and that it is an amazing machine designed to self-regulate. We believe that with all our heart, and that's what we're all about. And we'd also like you to check out our product, BioPro Plus, which is an immune boosting supplement, which can help regulate your own immune system and help your body heal itself. So it's a great tool, and it's one piece of the puzzle that if you're fighting any kind of chronic disease, or even if you just don't want to get a cold or a flu, go ahead and check out BioPro Plus on our website. Now, on to our blab, and with our guest, we've got Tracy French in the house, all the way from South Africa. That's pretty exciting. I think that's the farthest guest we've had on all of our blabs, so we're excited to have you, Tracy. Thank you for bearing with us. And we, just so some of you guys know in the background, Blab is a new platform, and it's still in beta mode, so there's some things that sometimes it's a little sketchy here or there. And we were having trouble with our main guest today that we had scheduled was Christine, also from South Africa, and they worked together with Tracy French, and we couldn't get her on. And literally up until 5 minutes ago, we were still trying to have her today. So we're going to have her on either later this week once we can get her on Blab and get it working. But Tracy got through no problem, so we're happy to have her, and we're fortunate to have her. So Tracy, since I wasn't prepared to do an interview with you, we're going to have a little fun here, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us your story of what got you to Body and Mind, number one, and what you do. And you have an amazing website. I did see that, and you just put out some wonderful, wonderful content with, again, something very similar to what we are. It seems most of it is in the alternative health realm.
Yeah.
So with that, tell us about yourself and how you got to be here today.
Okay. Well, I started Body and Mind about 16 years ago, and it all came about. I was in partnership with a friend of mine who ran an internet firm, and I wanted to start my own website. And at that stage in 1995, the internet had just come out, and so it was around 2000, and it wasn't very big here in South Africa yet. There wasn't a lot going on the internet. So I said to him, I definitely want a website. I didn't know what. Now, when I was 18, I had a back operation, so I got a steel rod in my back.
Ouch.
I had scoliosis. Yeah, it wasn't pleasant for an 18-year-old. And anyway, so I continued to have back pain for many years after the operation. And I used to go to an aromatherapist and a reflexologist to help me with the pain. And she immigrated from South Africa, so I had no one else to go to. I'd been to physios before. They didn't seem to be able to help. Only aromatherapy and reflexology helped with my back pain.
Amazing.
Yeah, so what I actually decided on doing was I went for a search.
I assume, let me jump in. I assume they had you on all kinds of painkillers and drugs and stuff.
Like
Okay, so you just fought through it, through the pain until you got that.
No.
Awesome.
Still to this day, I don't like tablets at all. I battle even taking my own vitamins, but I try and force that down. But painkillers I wasn't on. So I went to the health shops and I started collecting business cards from health shops. And I thought, you know what? I need to put this together so other people can actually find a list of health practitioners. I put the website Body and Mind together, and people flooded in from all over the country. I started off with 40 subscribers on my email list. That was people that I knew. And it just grew from strength to strength. And it grew within a year. I was working on it full time. People were listing on the site. It was obviously right in the beginning when the internet was still small and it was the right time. People were looking for information. And so I was very, very fortunate. I came up with the idea first in South Africa. And it's 16 years later, I've got about 30,000 people on my mailing list around South Africa, thousands of people listed on the website, and about 17,000 people on social media. And we just send out information. I don't proclaim to be an expert in any field. Marketing is my game and networking is the game. And it's purely for people, connect the right people together. So someone who needs a health practitioner, I will find them a practitioner in their area. And the right products, everything that's got to do with natural alternative health, I will connect the right people together.
And that, okay, so that getting all kinds of echo. Sorry about that. Do you guys hear that echo?
No, I don't hear it on my side.
Okay, good. Well, then I'll just deal with it. So that's what brought us here today. And for those of you that are listening or watching this, Christine, why can't I remember her last name? Hardy. Christine Hardy is one of the practitioners that deals with your website and that you help promote. And
Yes.
she was a natural energy healer, and I'm really excited to have her on also. We'll have her shortly. But so tell me, like, for instance, I've got a chronic issue, or my wife has a chronic issue, and we were in South Africa. How would we go about finding that? So what do you exactly do for me? Do we get on your website and try and tell you what's wrong, and you put us together with somebody? Is that the way it works in a nutshell?
That is the way it works. What will happen is, obviously you would have done some research yourself on your illness, and you would email me. If you haven't been able to find someone, you normally would be searching through the website. Body and Mind comes up at the top of the searches on Google for most alternative health in South Africa. And if you haven't found someone, you would drop me an email or phone me, and we would do research on it. And then we would put out a post and say, we give our practitioners a chance to talk to us and see if any of them can offer advice. Usually people start answering our requests within minutes. And we get people flooding in and telling us they can help, or they suggest someone that can help. And then we get back to the person that's got the illness, and we share the information with them and connect them with the right therapist.
So that must be cool. I actually kind of a little bit envious, because that's one of the things that my whole mission that I want to do is I want to help people get well, and be that kind of conduit to try and direct people in the right way. So would you consider yourself a coach, a life coach, a health coach, or any of that? Is it more of just a facilitator, really?
Just a facilitator.
But I wouldn't say just. I wouldn't say just.
The most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it must be really rewarding.
It is, because a lot of people come back to us and they say, thank you so much for connecting me with Christine Hardy or one of my other health practitioners. And they always give me feedback and say, it worked really well, or it wasn't quite for me. Do you suggest something else? So that happens as well. So we just keep on trying to connect them with the right people. And we go to shows and stuff like that, and we connect with the people personally, not just on the internet. Like what we're going to be doing now is, in the next month or so, the end of June, we're going down to Cape Town. There's a really big fair on down in Cape Town. It's a three-day festival, the Agnostic Holistic Festival. And we're going there, and we'll be connecting with all our people in Cape Town. And we get together, we have a breakfast before the show with all my customers and clients, all the practitioners and healers. And we get together, we throw ideas around, we have speakers, we give prizes, and we discuss their concerns. So it's all about getting to know the practitioners and the healers so that I can market them in an efficient way.
Yeah.
So
and you do that, how many times a year do you do that?
Well, whenever there's a show, so I'll usually know when there's a show on, and I try and get to a lot of them. the lady Antoinette Nirvana, who is the lady in Cape Town, this is her first show. So we're going down to support her on that, and we're marketing the show for her as well. She wants to also carry it through to Johannesburg as well. I used to run my own shows here in Durban. I did that for about 4 years, and that became too big and too busy and time consuming for me. So I actually sold it off to somebody else. But shows are great. I mean, it gets you involved and meeting the people instead of being behind a computer all the time.
Sure, sure. And just so everybody knows, they put up, Teresa put up your contact information, your website, and I think you can click on the box that's underneath us right now. I'm not sure if that's working. I put that up there. We'll see if it works, but you can click on that and go to your website. So how do you monetize your site? Or do people pay you to connect them, or how does that work?
Yeah, the healers actually pay me a monthly fee to be on my site. I design a whole entire page, a web page for them. So when you find somebody, you will see a whole A4 page basically on the site, and all their contact details. It's designed specifically for them. So it's in their branding, their colors, not in the Body and Mind colors or branding. It's their colors. So they pay us a monthly fee, and then also we send out emails to all our subscribers, and it's obviously the practitioner or healer's choice to send out, and then they would pay for that as well.
Okay.
Then we have a monthly newsletter that they can also choose to go into, and then we also have a printed magazine that we send out for KZN, which is KwaZulu-Natal here, Johannesburg, the Gauteng region, and then the Cape region as well. So that's a printed magazine that goes into all health shops. So we also charge for the advertising in that magazine. Interesting.
That's cool. I like that whole philosophy. It makes a lot of sense. I don't even know that there's many people doing that here in the States, if any. I haven't seen that. So, but I'm sure there may be, and I would hope there is, because it sounds great. We have a question over there. How many on the right side in our chat? How many practitioners are on your site? And I would take it a step further, and how many, not only how many practitioners, but what are the different ranges of is there groupings of certain types, or is everybody different?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we've got such huge range of sites of practitioners. We've got the very medical practitioner who is very strict and clinical. And then we've got the spiritual people that are doing wayward stuff like shamanism. Mm-hmm. We've got practitioners and healers that are shamans, and they're offering that as healing modalities, sweat lodges. Wow. So yeah, we've got such a huge extreme where some people, they don't connect with each other. They're completely different. But so that's why we give a large range of therapies and healers. And also, I mean, we have a countrywide, our listing is about 7,000 people and practitioners we have on our database. On our sites, we have about 2,000 listed.
Wow.
And then we have fewer that have pages, they pay us a monthly fee.
Well, that's huge.
But all in all, we can connect people with about 7,000 people listed in South Africa.
Now, so those of you out there listening, and I'm first on the top of the list, I don't know much about South Africa. How big of an area are you talking about, and how big of an area do you cover down there? Just roughly. I mean, is South Africa the size of one of our states, or half the United States, or?
Okay, if you look at England, right. England will fit inside KwaZulu-Natal. I live in KwaZulu-Natal. That's my province. England fits inside KwaZulu-Natal.
Wow, and that's just one province in South Africa?
That's just one province, and we're not by far not the biggest province. So South Africa is a huge area.
Do you cover all of South Africa, or just your province?
No, we cover the national.
Okay.
Yeah. But our three main provinces are Gauteng, that's where Johannesburg is, and the Western Cape, that's where Cape Town is, and KZN, that's where I am, in Durban.
Okay.
So, but we do have listings throughout the country, but they're not big listings. Our 3 main databases are those 3 cities.
Okay, so I'm going to try and put it in practical applications. Let's say I came to you and I'm fighting a cancer, let's say, of some sort. And I got onto your website, I've done my research. I don't particularly at this point want to go with chemo or radiation. I want to try some of the alternative methods first. How do you interact with me now to try and figure out of all those 7,000 different practitioners that you have, or at least maybe the 2,000 that you have on your website, how would you interact with me, and then how do you get me to that one of those people?
It's basically what I said earlier with you would normally have emailed me,
right?
And I would obviously offer my concerns and ask you questions about it. And then I would consult my practitioners and go out to my network and ask them their advice. I would never offer advice because I am definitely not educated enough in the natural health arena. I haven't studied enough, but I do know my healers, and I would ask their advice.
Okay, so you would obviously take my geographical location into context and understand where I'm at relative to your healers. And then you would know, based on what I'm going through, what healers may be beneficial to me. Then you go out to them, talk to them, and figure out which of them would be good. And would you give me a reference on a few of them, or just one specifically, or how would that work?
I would normally give you a couple. Yeah,
okay.
I would give you a few of them and say, these are your choices. This person has offered this, and maybe you could try this avenue. I would give you options, and then it would be up to you to contact them. And usually the healers would have already spoken to me, so they would expect your phone call, and then you connect, and then you guys discuss it.
Interesting. So is there any vetting process that you do with your healers, or is it just simply if they're interested, they'll come on and get to work? Obviously, you're not judging anything they do. It's so. No. Yeah, so if they're interested in working with you, you're interested in working with them, I take it.
Yes, that's it. And also, I mean, we do have a field, but it's not a compulsory field. We have a practice number. So some people do have a practice number and they have gone the correct routes, and then some people don't. So they still listed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is the way.
I see Christine came into our room, so welcome, Christine. We're gonna get you on another time here. I told everybody at the beginning Christine was having trouble, so she's in the room. At least she's hearing this, so she's getting to see a preview of how I'm going to attack her in the near future. So, at any rate, and we're looking forward to that. So, so tell me what you said. You've done this for how many years? Have you had this site up and running? 16 years. So you were right at almost the forefront of the internet at that point. I mean, as the internet we know as of today.
Yeah. Well, the internet came out, I think it was 95. Yeah. And so I started in the year 2000, and in South Africa, that was definitely the beginning.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We were talking about that for those of you listening. We were talking about earlier, their bandwidth down there is like, their good bandwidth is like 4 megabytes. It's just so much different than what we have here in the States. But you're coming through perfectly well, so it's working. We can't complain.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Yeah, well, I remember when I first started writing my emails, it was dial-up. We used to have this modem that dialed up and made the terrible noise. And I used to send out started off with 40 people, and eventually got up to about 400. To send out my newsletter took 4 hours to 400 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now you've got what'd you say, you have 30,000 now?
Yeah, 30,000.
And you hit a button once and they're gone, right?
It's wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. what else we advertise on the site is everybody's events. People have events, courses, and workshops, and we have an event section that is a very, very popular section of our website.
Very cool. I brought up what you just said, brought up another question for me. You know, we just opened for our product BioPro Plus, we opened an animal product. It's the same product, it's a different formulation, and we're specializing, we're starting off with, it's called BioEqualizer, and we're starting it off with horses, because my dad's an equine veterinarian, as I mentioned to you, and he's my partner. So that's where we're focusing first, is with horses. Do you offer anything for people with their pets on your site?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
We do. We have a whole pet section, which is wonderful. We have all sorts of natural healers in the dealing with animals, horses, dogs, cats, everything. People are very animal lovers here in South Africa, so it's a huge, huge section. And our site is divided up into different sections, and one we dedicate solely to animals.
Nice. That's one thing that obviously, you know, I'm an animal lover, and most people, it seems like, are in some way. The one thing that I love about animals and all of these different healing modalities is they validate it. They validate the modalities that sometimes when you get into the alternative realm, there are certain facets of the medical society that will say that these people are charlatans, they're woo-woo people, they really, you know, they don't really work because they aren't necessarily proved in science. Well, one of the things to me that is the biggest proof of efficacy of any modality, whether it be a healing modality or a supplement or actual medicine, is if it works on pets, it's going to work on people, because pets don't have a placebo effect. You cannot.
No, they don't have any judgment.
Yeah, you can't subconsciously tell a pet that they're going to be better if I heal you emotionally or I unblock some emotional blocks. They'll just get better, and if it works. And that's what I think is so cool about animals, and that's one thing we're really excited to have our product there for animals, because we just know how well it works, and our animals feel better when they're taking our product. And I know it's the same thing with the different healing modalities. That'll be a question, Christine, if you can hear us, which I'm sure you can, that I'm going to ask you. So be prepared if you've ever worked with any animals with your healing and your body alignment. So I won't get into much in that, but at any rate.
Yeah.
We actually had Kim on one of our blabs, and she's in our blab today, and she says, I've been called a witch before because of the holistic methods she uses. It's funny how the modalities that we're talking about today, especially these alternative modalities, were done long before, in some cases thousands of years before our quote unquote typical allopathic medicine of today. But yet that stuff's no good, and it's only our allopathic medicine that is. It's funny how the roles have reversed.
It's funny. When I first started my show, we used to have people picketing outside, telling us that we were going to go to hell and we were evil, and they jump up on the stage and tell us funny things. But over the years, it's become so much more acceptable. Mm-hmm. The times have changed, where all religions have come to accept it as just a different way of healing. It's nothing got to do with and interfering with their religion.
Right.
It's got to do with healing.
Sure.
And where they would say that herbs were evil. I mean, really, it's just about education and learning.
Absolutely.
Can actually help your body.
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny that you mentioned that, and I think I mentioned it to you about herbs, that we're getting ready to put some different CBD products on our website, because again, I believe in them. I know that as far as cannabis goes, it's the oldest medicine that we know of, and plants and food were our medicine long before synthetic drugs ever were, and they heal people. And combined with the talents of people like Christine, work together to heal people naturally without the side effects, and that's what's exciting to me. That's what I'm doing. That's what my passion is. That's why I love what I'm doing, because we're getting to help people heal themselves without all the side effects, and it's just so exciting to see what we're doing here. And herbs are very powerful, Kim.
I think people are going back to natural and alternative methods now. I think they've realized that the allopathic methods hasn't been working. It's not healing. A lot of the things are making us more sick, and it's now time to change and go natural and go alternative. Heal in a much easier way.
Absolutely.
And there is options out there, and you just have to look for them. And the internet is helping us find those options. And it's sites like myself, like Body and Mind, that connect everyone together. Yeah. And you just need to talk to the healers and find the information. It's just about researching and educating yourself and people around you.
So have you, because the internet is worldwide and it can touch all corners, do you have any plans to expand out of South Africa with your services?
I would love to. I actually have created some other areas of field for other English countries, because I need to deal mainly with English. But it's hard as well, because I've got such a good connection with the healers in South Africa. I know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know anyone in Australia. I don't know anyone in America. So it's almost like starting over, but I'm not based.
Yeah, right. No, I understand that. I'm just curious. It was just a question that came to mind.
But I would love to do that. It has been on my mind for a while now, how to do it, how to take that next step internationally. But it's
hard. Sure.
We'll get there.
Usually about this time, and we're kind of talking, since this was an impromptu blab, about not even having it, so I'm glad we got on. But normally about this time, if anybody has a question or wants to take a seat, jump in, please feel free. We won't bite, I promise, and people would love to see you. And it doesn't matter if you're on the East Coast or West Coast or in South Africa. If you'd like to jump in a seat and ask Tracy a question about what she does and how maybe she could even help you. The interesting thing is, Tracy, that I was so intrigued about, and one reason I'm really interested in talking to Christine is the healing that she does. She can do long distance, basically through Skype or some other service, maybe even a service like this, but Skype primarily, and that's exciting to me, because that doesn't mean that I have to have somebody like Christine in my backyard. She can be in South Africa and she can still help me. That's exciting to me, and that's what this technology is so wonderful about. It's just amazing to me that the world is such a big place, but literally we can make it that small, and I can connect with a healer in South Africa that can help heal me, that I would have never known about if it wasn't for this. So that's really one of the reasons why we try and put so much content out on the market, because we do believe that there's not one answer. There's just not one answer to being healthy. It takes there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that we need to utilize to help our bodies heal themselves.
And what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person. We also do, and our preferences are all different.
Sure. So that's one of the things that it's interesting to me, that alternative healers, if you will, and I'll just lump them into a big group. Hopefully Teresa can answer that for you. I'm not sure her name. She asked a question. I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted. Stephanie. I'm sorry. I should know that. I know Stephanie. I've talked to her a couple times. At any rate, one of the things that's so amazing to me about alternative health is that they do all these other modalities that traditional medicine doesn't help. And the thing is that's so exciting about the alternative health realm, or alternative health healers, is if somebody is going through the traditional allopathic means of treatment or modality for a pertinent disease that they may have, this is just another piece of the puzzle. You bring the two together and it's an amazing in itself. Sometimes the synergies that happen between the allopathic medicine, or Western medicine as we call it, and the alternative health, when you put those two together, amazing results happen. It's so sad to me that and it goes both ways. I've heard alternative health say, you know, Western medicine, all bad, 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 you know, and I've heard Western medicine say alternative health, ridiculous, non-scientific, doesn't work, waste of time, waste of money. I've heard it go both ways. And it's such a shame because all these things are here for a reason. We've had thousands of years on the alternative side to prove out the efficacy of those modalities. And we've had, you know, 120 years or so, maybe 150 years of modern allopathic medicine. So it's the infant on the block, but yet it's the big boy on the block at the same time, because it's, in some cases, at least here in the States, it can be viewed as the bully on the block, and not allowing some of these other modalities to work and help people. And that's sad, because to me, that's what I would like to do, is try and understand and figure out how to get those two sides together. Because as I've always...
They should be working hand in hand. And I think in a lot of cases, people are realizing that now and working with Western medicine and alternative medicine to get through difficulties in their life. It definitely is a hand-in-hand thing. I would never say one is bad and one is not. They definitely need to be working together.
Absolutely. So I think if we don't have any more questions, I think we're about ready to wrap this up, Tracy, unless you have some more that you'd like to add.
No, I'm good. Thank you very much. It was lovely chatting to you, and I thoroughly enjoyed chatting all about the health and alternative health.
Yeah, and I think there's some stuff that we're going to maybe do to be able to collaborate with you going forward. I'm excited about your connections, and possibly how maybe we can do some things with your people down there, and maybe with our products even give them some advantages that they don't have currently. So
well, thank you so much, Mike.
I always give the person that's in your chair the last say. So if there's anything you'd like to say, we'll close with that. And if not, then I'll sign off. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, as you've seen on the side, where the link to my website is www.bodyandmind.co.za. And if anyone has any questions, they can email me at info@bodyandmind.co.za. And I'd love to hear from anyone who's been listening and has any questions. And Mike, thank you so much for this opportunity to chat. It was lovely.
Okay, great. I appreciate you guys, both you and Christine. Those of you that are just joined or watching this on replay, we've literally spent the last couple of days getting to know each other pretty good. Couple hours working on Blab, trying to get Christine on and trying to get Tracy on, and we finally got one of them on. We'll get the other one on shortly, and we'll have a nice chat with Christine here shortly. But again, thank you so much for taking your time, all the time you spent so far to help us and to benefit our tribe. And I know they're going to get a lot out of this, and just really appreciate you being here. Please don't forget, if you're watching this Blab, and if you haven't already signed up for our email list, go to our website right under my name and sign up for it. There's a free ebook about how to rebuild your immune system. While you're there, you might as well get that. And there's a lot of great information on that, on how to rebuild your immune system and how to help your body heal itself. That's what we're all about. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you guys soon.